The city that I live in has stopped being able to recycle plastic bags, and more cities and states are banning their use altogether. So what do you do when you have a bunch of plastic bags to get rid of and you need a reusable bag to take to the market? You turn these into this. Hi, I'm Ashley Thompson. I'm a DIY vlogger who DIYs everything. Lately, I've been completely obsessed with crocheting all of my summer fashion, but in light of plastic bags no longer being recyclable, I decided to trade in my yarn for some Plarn. Plarn is exactly what it sounds like, plastic yarn. It's made from simply cutting plastic grocery bags into strips and looping them together. You can make a million things out of Plarn, but what better to make than a reusable bag to take the place of the plastic bags? Today I'm going to show you step by step how to make both the Plarn itself and this fun Plarn market bag. But first, take a second to subscribe to my channel. If you came for the crocheting, I have tons of great crocheting tutorials. And if you came for the Plarn, I'll be doing more tutorials out of Plarn too. Here's what you're going to need for today's project. Plastic grocery bags, and lots of them. I should have counted them as I use them, but this bag alone probably is made of at least 80 grocery bags. You will also need a scissors and a crochet hook. I'm using my trusty size H hook. Now for this bag, I decided to use all grocery bags from the same store so it would have consistent coloring. The bags I used were a transparent white with red and black markings, and it definitely gives my bag a fun variegated look. But you could also use bags from multiple stores in segments throughout your bag to create patterns and stripes. I'm going to get started by showing you how to make the Plarn. So here's my grocery bag, and I'm just going to flatten it out and then fold it and then fold it again. And I'm going to cut the straps off. And I'm going to cut a little bit of the bottom edge off so that it doesn't have that seam. Now I'm going to fold it in half one more time just to make it easier to cut. And then fold it in half the other way. And cut that edge. Fold it in half one more time. And cut that edge again. Now you're going to fold this again, but it gets a little too thick for me to do it all at once. But cut the edge again. Get this one. And then these are each going to get cut just in half one more time. When you're done, you should have 16 pieces. And you can unfold it. And you should have a loop. So you should have 16 loops cut out of one bag. And then to make Plarn, you just take these loops that you've cut out and then take another loop. Put your second loop all the way into your first loop, pull it through, and then loop it back through itself. And hold that tight. And then you just move on. Down into the first loop, pull it down, and then back through itself. That's all there is to it. Now that we have our Plarn, I'm going to show you how to crochet the bag together. For this bag, I'm using a slight variation of the market bag pattern I designed a couple of months ago. So if you like this bag, make sure you go check that one out too. So far, it's been really popular. It's approaching 2,000 views. And if it helps you to see the written pattern as you crochet, you can go ahead and take a screenshot of this now. Now I'm ready to start my bag. This is just going to be a crocheted circle, and if you need to know more information on how to crochet a circle, you can check out that video on my channel as well. So I'm going to start with a magic loop, put my Plarn tail down, wrap it around, insert my crochet hook under the first piece over the second, hook on, and pull it through. Since I'm going to be using a double crochet for this and I'm going to be counting my chain as my first stitch, I'm going to do 3 chains to secure this. 1, 2, 3. This now counts as my first stitch, and I'm going to continue with 9 more double crochets in this loop. And when I finish with my double crochets, I'm just going to insert my hook into that chain from the beginning of this row and do a slip stitch to close it off. And I'm going to continue on as I would with any circle pattern, counting again my chains. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to be doubling in this row, so I'm going to yarn over and then do a double crochet in that very same stitch, and this counts as 2 in my first stitch, and then I'll do again 2 in my second, when you're working with Plarn, you just kind of make it work. There'll be times when it's a little wonky or you're right at the kind of knot seam, but it all works out in the end. And so I'm just going to keep going around this, doing 2 double crochets in every double crochet from my round below until I'm all the way done. I'll join it again into the chain from this row with a slip stitch, and I'll start my next row. And I'm going to continue in the pattern that I always use with a circle, where every row has 1 more double crochet between the increased stitches. So the next row is going to be 2 in 1, 1 in the next, 2 in 1, 1 in the next, and the following row will be 2 in 1, 1 in the next 2, 2 in 1, 1 in the next 2, and I'm going to do that until I have a big enough circle for the base of my bag, and then I'm going to move on to the netting. Now I've completed 7 rows of my Plarn circle and I'm ready to start the netting. So I'm going to start by chaining 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I'm going to count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do a slip stitch into the 5th stitch. I like to use slip stitches when I'm doing a net bag because it has a really small joint then. And now chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into that 5th stitch, so it skips 4. Slip stitch. And it's making sort of these areas that are going to be my kind of net. So when you come back around and you're ready to end this row, instead of doing every row one at a time, we're going to do the rest of this bag in just one continuous row. So I'm going to go right into this chain and do a slip stitch around it, and then I'll chain 7. And I'll go into the next chain and slip stitch around it. and that's what's gonna start making my chain as I go. So I'm just gonna go around and around in a continuous round until the bag is the height that I want it to be, and then I will just finish off the top of the bag and add a handle. So you can make this bag really as big as you want. I did 15 rows of net for my bag, and now I'm ready to move on to the trim. And to give my bag a nice edge, I'm going to do single crochets all the way around in every chain. But my bag is a little bit wider up at the top than it was at the bottom because I added those chains, so I'm going to have to also do some decrease stitches along the way. I'll start by chaining one. And to decrease, I will crochet 2 together. So I'll insert my hook into the chain, I will yarn over, pull it through, and then instead of pulling it through the last 2, I will put it through another chain, yarn over, pull it through. Now I'll have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to decrease. And then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So my pattern for the first round is going to be to do a single crochet in 1 stitch and then crochet the next 2 stitches together. Then I'll do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then I will single crochet the next 2 stitches together. So I'm going to rotate, putting 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets between my decreased stitches all the way around. And when I get done with that row, I'm going to do a slip stitch to end it and then chain 1 to start my next row. And for this round, I'm going to do 3 single crochets and then I'm going to single crochet the next 2 together. 3 single crochets and then decrease by crocheting the next 2 together. I'll do this all the way around the top of my bag, and then I'm going to end it by slip stitching into the beginning of this round, and then I'll be ready to show you how I make the strap. I'm going to be using double crochets for my strap, so I'll start by chaining 2, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in my next 4 stitches. So my strap's going to be 4 stitches wide. Then I'll just turn my bag, chain 2, and do 4 double crochets across again. I'm going to do that until I have the length I need for my strap. And then just attach it to the other side of your bag when you're done. And here it is, my crocheted Plarn reusable market bag. It's a great way to turn garbage into something that actually helps you create less garbage. And I think that's a win. Don't forget, if you liked this tutorial, then give this video a like too, and come over to my Instagram to get sneak peeks and updates on all of my projects. Plus, my cat Helen makes some appearances too. See you soon!